Alfredo, my name is Singh. How are you doing today? Tell me about Escocafe.
Okay, hi, I'm Alfredo, the founder and CEO of Escocafe. We are based out of our whole coffee experience among Colombian coffee, which is one of the greatest coffees in the world. And we realized that 80% of the coffee, they just don't realize the difference between a good coffee and a bad coffee, which is something that for us is more than a problem and opportunity because we are able to create new experiences among the turnaround Colombian coffee and in any kind of coffee anyway, but our product is Colombian coffee. And we are creating this kind of metaverse that allow us to create digital assets, digital mechanisms to teach people how to enjoy and create new experiences like with a cup of coffee. So that allows us to create virtual reality assets, NFTs. We are creating like our learning platform. We are giving like a physical courses as well. So we are developing multiple revenue stream model, which allow us to develop not only the best coffee experience, but also different coffee experiences. With that, the idea for us is to develop marginal cost to near to zero revenue streams, and with that, multiply our presence around the world, and also to bring this coffee experience near to the people. We are looking forward to have $3 million to develop this kind of these experiences. And then from that point on, we are looking forward to raise more capital for the development stage.
Understood. How much are you looking to raise again? Alfredo, tell me again.
3 million.
3 million. Got it. Okay. And what are you going to use that money for?
Well, we need some physical stores because obviously we need in the first stage we need people to get closer to this kind of technologies, because it's something that it's new, and also to develop our multiple channels. So to develop 2 or 3 like virtual experiences that we already were working on it, to develop like more NFTs and making a lot of marketing in order to communicate these kind of experiences, because it's something that really needs a lot of communication, taking into consideration that coffee it's a community. It's a commodity, and making the differentiation between our coffees and different other Colombian brands, it's quite.
Understood. So, Alfredo, I want to give you a little bit of feedback, if I may. Is that okay? Is that okay, Alfredo? So what we'll do, and I know you're adjusting your audio right now, but I want to give a little bit of feedback on your platform, right, and the way that you've pitched this, because I feel like as an investor, I kind of wanted to understand a little bit more around how the NFT connection was connecting to coffee. Does that make sense? So like you have the coffee experience, and you have a lot of experience in terms of the back end creation of coffee. You know the difference between a good bean and a bad bean, and you have that. What I wanted to know was, how do you connect that with the digital world, right? Because you talked several times about NFT and the metaverse and all this stuff. And what I always find is it's really important to kind of draw the connection when sometimes it's not obvious, right? Because right now, when we go to a coffee shop like Starbucks, I don't know if you'll consider that a coffee shop, but at least in North America,
they work.
Yeah. In North America, people consider Starbucks coffee, and so, you go there, the only digital experience you have is your loyalty program. Okay, right?
Yep.
And so what I wanted to hear was, okay, everyone drinks coffee. Okay, we know a lot of people drink coffee, right? You can look at, the amount of per capita coffee drinkers. We know there's a lot of coffee consumption. There's a small group of people that actually care about the bean of coffee, right? There's there's a small group, but it's a very dedicated group that we would call coffee connoisseurs, people that care about the coffee, the heating, and all of the other stuff. You go to their house and they have all that set up, right?
Yeah.
And what you're saying is that audience, you are going to level up in terms of their understanding of coffee, the bean, the whole ecosystem, from the farm all the way to the cup, right? Farm to the cup experience. I don't know if that is what you guys say. I just made that up. The other thing around it is why NFT matters, right? And that didn't come out in your pitch, and I wanted to know, right? And for me, right, when we think about NFT, okay, NFT is this way of allowing people to have a unique identity online, okay? And so when I think about what you're doing is if you're training these people and having a different way of evaluating their ability to understand coffee, brew coffee, experience coffee, you are also going to award NFTs that they can share, on their avatars or any other space to allow them to brag about their coffee connoisseurness, okay, if that's a word. Does that make sense, Alfredo? Right?
Yeah. However, I think that, for example, we were talking in our panel group about one brand. They're like working on coffee in the United States, and they are growing like crazy progeny coffee. And they are selling. It's something that for Escocafe and for myself, it's something that I just don't want to do. Like selling coffee producers as poor people.
Yes.
And coffee is not always about like a brewing coffee. For example, when I was talking about like virtual reality, our first trips in the virtual reality is to bring people to the farm and see how, for example, how producers just pick up the crop, for example.
Yes.
And that in that way, for example, if you come to the farm, I can award you an NFT with some image in particular of this brand, and now you are the only one who possess this kind of a digital asset.
Yeah.
In that sense, you change a little bit from the coffee itself just to the experience, but then when you buy this coffee, you say, okay, I'm drinking a coffee that I brew myself because, as we were talking about, I put my goggles on, I brew my coffee exactly as the barista did, I took them off, I brew my coffee, but this coffee is coming from the farm that I also made.
But that didn't come out in your pitch. Yeah, and I love that, right? Because there are people that want to put on a headset and go directly to the farm in Colombia and select, the package of beans that they want, right? They want to interact with the farmer.
Yeah.
They want to talk to them. They want to have that exchange. It's part of their experience, but that didn't come out in your pitch. I wanted to hear that, right? That makes sense
definitely.
from the metaverse.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And so what happens?
No, that absolutely makes sense.
So it's two levels. You are creating a new farm to cup experience, right? Where people are going to allow using virtual reality to go to the farms of Colombia and select their own beans and understand and learn the best way to brew coffee. And not only that, you will have an NFT that will authenticate you on that experience and show that you are a master brewer. And it's something that you can brag about and share, right? Online, because you want to brag. Remember, NFTs and everything, you need to give bragging. People talk, if you can't brag about it, what's the point, right? If you're living virtually beside Snoop Dogg, okay, you got to be able to brag about that. And if the people, like for instance, my mother and my grandmother would never pay any money to live virtually next door to Snoop Dogg, because my grandmother, who lives in India, she doesn't even know who Snoop Dogg is. And I guarantee you none of her friends know who Snoop Dogg is, right? But when it comes down to people in our generation that listen to him as an artist, that's interesting. Similarly with you, Alfredo, we want to be able to elevate the best of the best coffee connoisseurs using the Escocafe platform. Does that make sense, Alfredo? But that needs to come out. What you're doing, that journey. And it's like, in this virtual world, I'm sitting at a desk all day at home. My kids are in the back causing all of these, all of this noise. But in the morning, part of my meditation is I put on my VR goggles and I go straight to Colombia and I hang out with Alfredo and his friends on the farm and I'm talking to them and we're having this beautiful, experience. And so that's what I'm talking about. And I think that, Alfredo, is beautiful, right? And now it's a meditation. It's going to calm me. My morning coffee is not rushed. It's my meditation. And that is what you're bringing. And you're allowing everyone to brag about the fact that you are the only person in Toronto that's been able to go to Colombia, even during COVID, okay? And select your own bean. And you are better than other people, right? And you'd be surprised how many people from chocolate and coffee, you'd be surprised how many people like this. But that's what I wanted in your pitch, Alfredo. Does that make sense?
Okay. No, it makes a lot of sense. And now that you're talking about it, because we are working also with some yoga coffee sessions.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are working on that right now.
Yeah,
and it's like a physical experience where you come here to our place, and with coffee, we just put coffee in your hands, in your ears, and everything, and just start drinking. It's like a sensory thing, like we're doing it right now.
Saying?
But
that's a good.
If we do it in a virtual reality space that the person can use their headsets and do it. And doing it like in their in the morning routine will be just amazing as well, because it's just the preparation to the morning cup.
Yes. So I want to, Alfredo, would you like me to pitch your idea back to you?
Definitely, please.
I'll pitch your idea. We're going to go to the top of the thing and I want to pitch Escocafe to you as I see it. Okay. And I'll pitch the concept. Okay. And based on our conversation. All right. So we're hitting the top. I need you to kick off by introducing yourself. You can be whoever you want to be, right? But don't be Pablo Escobar, because that's going to maybe be a little bit controversial. Just be anyone else.
It was already taken.
But you can, no judgment. But I want you to kick it off, and I am going to pitch the Escocafe experience to you. Go ahead.
So, hello, I am the lost son of Warren Buffett, that I have some heritage to spend.
Somebody, great. Alfredo, it's great to meet you.
So
yes.
Just let me know, what is your idea?
Great. So, Alfredo, great to meet you. My name is Ash Singh, and I'm part of the Escocafe team. As you know, everyone loves coffee, right? We all drink coffee, we consume coffee. I am from a family that has a deep understanding from Colombia in terms of how to brew coffee. And we believe that there is a beautiful opportunity now in this COVID environment where every single person is stuck at home to create the next generation farm to cup experience using the Escocafe platform. And basically what it means is, in the morning, instead of just brewing your coffee, you can put on a VR headset, join us in the fields and farms in Colombia and work with expert brewers and the rest of our team and go through the beautiful experience of becoming a master coffee connoisseur, right? Learn how to brew. And not only that, take that opportunity to enjoy the surroundings, but level your experience with coffee, get the best type of beans. And not only that, as you start to do this, we'll create a beautiful NFT format so that you can brag to your friends that you are, in fact, a Colombian coffee connoisseur. We believe that there's a huge interest for this because, there's tons of people that love their coffee and want to level up and change their experience. And we believe we have the platform to make it happen. We're looking for around $3 million to launch this new generation coffee experience and coffee brand. And we hope that you're interested to participate. I'd love to catch up with you over one of our Escocafe coffees. Thank you.
Perfect. Absolutely amazing. Let's have that coffee.
Right? Does that make sense, Alfredo? I tried to summarize what you and I just spoke about, right? I put the experience there. I wanted coffee is not like coffee is just brown water to some people, right? It's brown water.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
It doesn't really look nice too to look at, but your thing is about experience and all of that. And I need that to come out in your pitch so they fully understand it. Okay. You know, what is that experience going to look like? Who do you get to interact with that you're never going to do before? And how are you going to level up and become that master coffee connoisseur? Right. And from there, how is it going to change your life? And this becomes that meditation later on, but it has to start off with the first component, right? So that's kind of the process, I think. Alfredo, I love what you're working on. Really exciting. My pleasure. Be safe in Paris.